Today we're going to look at a swarm that I captured in a bait box, which is just basically a beehive with a lid and a bottom, and we just kind of staple it together or secure it with screws, and we put it in a tree. And this tree is facing south, and I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see the one. It's a Bradford pear, and it's right here in the middle, and we're going to walk over there in just a second and I'll show you where the bees are. But that's the tree, and like I say, it's south facing, and the bees, it's right along a tree line. If you can see here, there's a tree line that cuts across the field, and that's kind of what they like. They're looking for something like that, so I thought, well, I'll try it. I've been trying for 2 years to catch a swarm this way, and I finally got one, and so we're going to go take a look right now. Here we are at the front of the beehive, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. Here it is here up in the tree, and look at the bees going in there. This is about a quarter of a mile away from my bee yard, so it's possible these are probably bees that might have left one of my own hives without me realizing it. Sometimes that happens. And out they go. Or it could be a feral swarm. That's what I'd really like. I don't know for sure. So I'm going to take that down in a couple of days. I believe it's been there at least a week. I'm not really sure. I put it up there and I actually kind of forgot it was there. And now I just happened to take a look and say, I wonder if there's any bees in my bait box, and sure enough, they are. So I'm pretty excited about that. After 2 years of trying, this is the first one I've ever captured. And they seem to be liking their hive, and I'll take that down. It's just held on with some wire. I'll take that down in a day or two, and I'll move it into the bee yard with the other bees, and I'll make sure that the queen's in there and everything's good, and it probably is. But it's always exciting to catch a wild swarm, so I thought you might enjoy that. So there they are up in their tree. We'll zoom back out, and that's where we're at. So I'll just kind of pan through here a little bit so you can see the lay of the land. So again, it's right by a tree line. I'll come back this way. So if you're ever thinking of putting one of these bait boxes up for yourself, look for a tree line out in a field. And I put some lemongrass oil on it, along with some queen pheromone, which you can get. It's not that hard to get. If you have some queens, well, yeah, I guess you need dead queens. If you have any queens that got squished or had to be replaced, you can save the old queen and, just crush her and put her in a jar of alcohol. And then when you want to set up a bait hive, you just take a Q-tip and dip it in that alcohol and just drop it right into that hive. And all I had in this hive was some empty frames. If you've watched some of my other videos, I don't use very much foundation, or very rarely do I use foundation. And I just let them build their own comb. And there's a troublemaker right down there. She's the one that's making all that noise in the grass here, aren't you? Now about 20, well, maybe 15 feet away from that bait hive was this guy, and I wasn't real thrilled to find him near that hive. Actually, my wife found him, and he's not alive now. I don't like to kill animals, but I'm always nervous to keep poisonous snakes around, especially where I know I'm going to be walking. This is only, like I say, a few feet away. There's that tree. There's my hive up in that tree. You can see how close we were. and he was just kind of hanging around over here. And that is a copperhead. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. Okay, I just wanted to stand here so that you could see just how high off the ground I put this bait hive. I can almost reach it. My fingers can almost touch that. So that's about 7 feet off the ground. I've heard you can put them up to maybe 10 or 15 feet high, but I just had a 6-foot step ladder. So I just came out here one day, put the ladder up, and I brought a level with me because I wanted to make sure the hive was level side to side. Because when they draw their comb, they're going to draw it perfectly perpendicular to the ground. So side to side is very important. Now you can have it tipped a little to the front or a little to the back, and that's okay. But when you position a hive, you want to not put it one way or the other this way. You want to have it perfect. That way your comb will draw nice and straight when your bees get to working, especially if you're not using foundation, and that's how I like to run a lot of my hives, is without foundation. So I put this bait hive up probably, I think it's been about 2 months. I think I put this up at the end of February, and swarm season can start as early as maybe March, mid-March, maybe to late March in Georgia, North Georgia where we are, and it can be real good in April. Now this April was not that great. We had a lot of cold, we had a lot of rain, so we pretty much lost all of April, unfortunately, for bees as far as they're concerned. There was a lot of rain, and it washed out a lot of the flowers that were blooming. And so May has been terrific. We've had a great month of May so far. We're at the middle of the month, and the air smells real sweet right now. We can smell privet in bloom. There's also blackberries and raspberries blooming, so that's all fantastic. The bees are having a great time, and so the swarms are being cast now. It's kind of late in the season, relatively speaking. May is not out of the question in North Georgia, but typically we'll see a lot of this kind of activity as early as April, which is really cool. So if you're in the Georgia area or in the south, that's a good time to put your bait hives up, is around late February, early March, and you'll probably get some swarm activity right around April. This year I had to wait all the way until May before I finally captured a swarm, which is pretty cool. So I just wanted you to see the swarm or bait hive in relation to how high it is off the ground, and you can see where I'm standing in relation to it. So that'll kind of give you an idea if you want to set some of these up. I've got 4 of them spread out along areas like these tree lines, and this is the one that captured one this year. So this is the tree. I hope to, I'm going to mark this and kind of keep a mental note of it, and next spring I'm going to put that swarm trap up there one more time and see if we can't catch some more. I wanted you to see this other bait hive that I put underneath my back deck. This is a really good spot. I've got a buddy of mine that has caught swarms the same way in his yard by putting a swarm trap right underneath his rear deck. And as you can see, there's a lot of bees that are taking interest in this bait box. It's basically 2 5-frame bodies, and I'm using medium frames, so there's 2 5 frames, one on top of the other. And I think that I'll catch a swarm here next year. I did not catch one this year, and if you look at where they're going inside, I believe this is the reason why they rejected this particular hive. The opening is too big. What it is one of those hive bodies, the wood cracked all the way across, and so I thought, well, there's an entrance, but I think it was probably just a little too big. So next year, probably the same setup would work with a smaller entrance, maybe just a 2 or 3 inch diameter entrance, and that ought to work. So just something I could pass on to my fellow beekeepers, and I hope everyone out there has a great beekeeping season, and come back for more Enjoy Beekeeping videos. Bye-bye.